Visiting the highlands of Iceland is like a journey to another planet. As the days are getting longer and glacial water starts running through the streams, patches of lush green moss cover the dark volcanic soil. And this is not the only sign of life. In early July, curious visitors from faraway places migrate to this remote spot of the island. Here we have one of the first of these two-legged adventurers who successfully journeyed on gravel and through rivers to the highlands of Iceland. We have to be quiet, because so early in the season, this particular species can be skittish and a little camera shy.
Skittish? Who are you kidding? Thank you, Sir David. I'll take it from here.
You are most welcome, Joey.
Most of Iceland's iconic places are seemingly located around Ring Road 1. But their popularity is to a good part thanks to their accessibility, because in the highlands of Iceland you arguably find way more impressive locations that are an absolute paradise for hiking and stunningly photogenic. They're harder to get to, and in this video we will talk about what it takes to explore this otherworldly place. Now, the reason why I'm so drawn to Iceland is because it really gives you the opportunity to experience and be one with the raw power and beauty of nature while not having a lot of tourists and people around you. The sites around the Ring Road certainly can get very crowded, so these remote places are the perfect escape for anyone who is up for an adventure and feels home out in nature. Quick fun fact, I'm actually currently in a location where they shot Star Wars Rogue One, but to get into the highlands you need to solely drive on gravel roads, ford rivers and hike to places, so you need adequate gear, a fitting vehicle and a lot of planning as well. Most of these beautiful places can only be accessed in summer. Some roads open in June, most of them open in July, but start closing in September. So check road.is for the latest update and current status of those roads. There's also this table, which I will link in the description below, that shows you the average opening time. So when you book your trip to Iceland, you know roughly when to expect what roads are open at what time. But also, there can be always a reason, for example, a flooded river or so, that just prohibits you from continuing. So build in flexibility into your plans, into your route, because you may have to turn around. Also very important, come prepared for the days you spend in the highlands, because there are no gas stations and even less grocery stores around in the highlands. There are actually no gas stations inside the highlands, but a few outside. So definitely fuel up, definitely stock up on water as well. Have a full water tank when you go in. Well, I don't. You can always refill it in rivers, but definitely also on your hike, take enough fluids with you in case you get lost or in case you get stuck, whatever. It's always good to have water with you. And also layers of clothes. Very important in Iceland, always have some layers, because the sun can come out and it's getting really warm when you hike up somewhere. But then when you are at the peak or you're in the shade, it gets really freezing, so definitely have layers of clothes, always key. And for the non-survival gear, the most important thing is a sleeping mask, because in summer it doesn't get dark at all, really at all. So you definitely need a sleeping mask in order to enjoy and get some beauty sleep. Definitely the most important gear if you want to get proper sleep. And the weather in the Highlands, like anywhere in Iceland, can be quite volatile and windy. So that's why we're in a cave right now. But always, before any trip or any hike, check vidur.is or download the app and check the weather conditions for the next couple of hours and days. Through the Highlands you will get on so-called F-roads, which are the mountain or highland roads, which are non-maintained, gravel roads which are only open in summer, and two-wheel drive cars are forbidden on those streets. So when you rent a car or camper van, get a 4x4. Most rental cars have a sticker up front in the driver's cabin that tells you if you're allowed to drive on F-roads, and if in doubt, just ask your rental company. So when you venture out in Iceland, one thing you very likely will encounter are rivers. And crossing those rivers, the risk is always fully on your side. No insurance is covering this. Here we go, the River 1. And now the excursion bus has to pull them out. The damage can be quite expensive, in the thousands of euros or dollars, whatever you're paying. But if you know how and if you can cross the river, will mitigate the risk. The current and the depth of the rivers are constantly changing, actually even during the day. So you want to go early in the morning when the sun hasn't melted a lot of glacial water yet. But one thing you definitely want to do is plan your route and maybe even use a drone to figure that out. So one misleading thing can be to go in where the water is calm, but that's a sign of depth, so don't do that. Also go very, very slowly, 5 kilometers at max, and you'll be golden. It's all good then. Woo! Next tip, always go with the stream, because going against the current increases the wave in front of your car and the risk of your engine pulling in water. And motor damage is actually the most common cause here of damage on rental cars. And the 4x4 Happy Camper has actually a snorkel, so the risk is definitely reduced of water being sucked in by the engine. If you're unsure to cross a river, just don't do it. The risk is too high. You can also wait for smaller, weaker cars. If they can cross it, you know, your chances are that you can make it as well. But obviously experience on how to cross a river counts as well. Always look for a Dacia Duster. If the Dacia Duster makes it, you'll be fine with this thing. Also signs like this at rivers that indicate how deep it is, so that gives you a little bit of an indication, but most rivers don't have those, so you need to scope it out for sure. But always keep in mind, the risk is on your side, nothing is covered, it's not recommended to do it, so keep that in mind. Okay, let's talk about how you have to drive on these F-roads, these gravel roads. First of all, you want to go slowly. While it is allowed to drive, in theory, 80 kilometers per hour on these streets here, you never can get that fast unless the road conditions and the weather conditions are absolutely perfect. Generally you go half the speed, if not less, so always go slowly. Also, don't panic. Never just do any erratic movements. You see these like carved out oftentimes in the street, so when you have oncoming traffic you sometimes have to go onto the loose gravel, and that's when your car starts swimming. So always, when you have oncoming traffic, try to be careful with that, because it can be quite slippery then and your car starts swimming. And also, never ever go off-road in Iceland, because it's destroying the nature and it's fined very, very highly. So when you follow that, you can just go into these dusty gravel roads and you're good to go. Okay, there's one more thing, one more hazard you can encounter on the streets of the Highlands, and that's actually quite a cute one, and it's little sheep. They happen to be one of the top causes for accidents on the roads of Iceland in general, so keep an eye out, drive careful whenever you see a little white thing on the side. Actually also black sheep, they can be even more tricky to see because you may think that they are stones. So be careful, think about the sheep. So sheep aside, another sign that you come across quite a few times is this funny one here with the two bumpy cars, blind head. This is mostly positioned when you can't see behind a hill and people rush over these hills, and so you may want to take those more carefully, slowly, because you can't see oncoming traffic when you see one of these here. Attention! And believe it or not, also in the Highlands there's tons of campgrounds and mountain huts, and some of the campgrounds have even showers, and if they don't, just jump into the next river or hot water pond. Whenever you think you're miserable in a camper van in the rain and it sucks, well, there's worse things. Oh my god. So since you get to quite some remote places when you go out into the Highlands, you want to keep safety very much top of your mind as well. Like, think about always carrying a phone with you, taking some GPS tracking device, maybe also your phone. And there's also the website safetravel.is where you can leave your itinerary so that at least the authorities know where they could possibly find you if you get lost or something happens to you. So always a good thing to keep in mind. Iceland generally, I would say, is definitely good to travel alone, like be it if you're a guy or a girl, because it's generally a very safe country. Like, crime is very low here. The only danger really is your own negligence or stupidity of engaging with the nature. So if you're careful with that front, should be good to go. And lastly, enjoy the adventure. Cherish the moments out in nature and also on the gravel roads. I can totally recommend renting a 4x4 camper van. The freedom, flexibility and convenience it provides, even in the wilderness, is unbeatable, and you can just focus on our beautiful planet. If you don't have enough yet of Iceland, I have a bunch of other videos, including a documentary about the volcano you can check out right here. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and as always, have a good morning, have a good night, whenever and wherever you are around this beautiful planet. Bye bye.